All right, well, I'm sure that was a fun game to watch once it got started, especially if you're a South Carolina fan. My hat's off to the South Carolina program and the job they did. Our guys, I think they definitely played hard. I think we wanted to win. Obviously, I think we played hard enough to win, but we just didn't seize the moment, especially after we get that big turnover deep in the territory and get 0 points out of it. Just very disappointing right there. And you know, no matter what happened throughout the day, that was a moment where we had a chance to, at worst, tie it up, and we're not able to do that. And ultimately, well, it's one of the things that got us. It's one of the things that got us. We could have got another stop. There's a lot of things that could have happened. But it would have been nice at that moment as the game was going to take advantage of that big turnover right there, and unfortunately we did not.
Marshall makes 20 in a row before he misses those two.
Yeah.
What's the conversation with him? What was the
I didn't say anything to him. Not that I was ignoring him. It just, you're going on to the next play pretty much. I didn't get a chance to see him in the locker room. Yeah, I mean, he broke an SEC record, I guess, for most kicks in a row, and then misses a couple, which is not normal for him. And I was watching pretty close. I didn't see anything, and I didn't see any issue with the snap or the hold. It looked fine. And you know, one of them looked like it went almost right over the top of it, but obviously the officials thought it was out, and I'm not really questioning that. But you know, usually he's right down the pipe, and there's not much drama when he goes back there to kick. So he'll get back on track. He's a great kicker.
Mark, they were continually getting receivers open. Because in the first half, is that just kind of break down?
Well, part of the problem was we just really didn't put much pressure on the quarterback. You know, our four-man rush really didn't even squeeze the pocket as far as I could see. I thought he had a lot of time to stand back in there and side it up and hit it. You know, there were some times we had some tight coverage and he made nice throws, and there were some times we just didn't cover well enough. But I think we got a little bit better in the second half. We tried to pressure a little bit more in the second half because we just weren't getting much from our four-man rush. Their offensive line did a nice job.
You talked about the call on 1st and goal at the 4. I mean, Hudson said, I guess it was a fake toss to Todd. And then when?
Yeah, I mean, it's a play that looks good when you put it in, but it wasn't very good that moment.
Can you talk a little about third down? You guys struggled off that.
Yeah, first half didn't get any third down conversion. Second half did a lot better. I think we were 0 for 4 in the first half, and where did we finish? 5 for 12. So if that'd be 5 for 8, and then one of them we went on 4th down. So it's almost like going 6 for 8 on those drives. So did a lot better in the second half. Didn't do much of anything in the first half, and I think their third downs in the second half. I don't know if they converted one in the second half. That's one thing we talked about at halftime. That they'll do a better job on third down. And that was probably what got us back in it.
Did you just think y'all stopped it right there at the end?
It's so hard to tell. Really tough to tell.
Did the kids think that?
Well, yeah, I mean, anybody out there, I mean, no one really had a good vantage point. Even where I was standing, it was just such a big scrum in there, it was really hard to tell. I think a lot of it had to do with, you know, where the ball was on his body. You know, was it on his chest? Was it down by his belly button? You know, I don't know, by his waist. I mean, I just couldn't tell where the ball was. And even at the end, if you had a credit card, we might could have slipped one in there.
Mark, is there any way to take the guesswork out of a situation like that?
Guesswork out of what now?
Spotting the ball, you know.
Not unless you have some type of a gadget on the ball that could maybe put a GPS system on it or something.
I mean, is that hard to take, knowing what's at stake in all of these games?
Yeah, but you know what? We still have got a wonderful opportunity to win a lot of games and get right back to Atlanta. And, you know, so we know there's a lot of football to be played. Yeah, it's one thing about our league. It's such a great league that, you know, if we can get back on track, we can get back where we want to go.
What did y'all do during the delay? Obviously, both teams had to experience that.
Right. Well, we kept, in the beginning, we knew we were going to have 20 minutes to warm up, so we were just trying to get that plan, what that would look like. And then we actually started on that, and then that path, and then we had to come back in. And then all of a sudden it became, 10-minute warm-ups as far as what was going to happen a little bit later on. And a couple times we were in the locker room beginning to stretch in the locker room, and then I was getting ready to give kind of a pregame talk before we hit the field. We did 2 of those, and I thought my second one was better than the first one. So, but you're just trying to be ready when the time comes, and then when they delayed it another 30 minutes or whatever it was, then you had to sit tight, usually 10 to 15 minutes before you started all over again. So about 3 times we started it, and the 3rd time we got it going.
Coach, obviously you won 4 of the last 5 in this series. How do you feel about the way that's going? I mean, obviously you would prefer to be different.
Yeah,
than that,
wish we were winning. Wish we won.
They didn't exactly stop early. They kind of slowed it down in the second half. Did they do something different in the second half?
They did. They just played good ball. They did a couple things. They did a couple pressures where they would, rush their Sam and Will linebacker maybe a little bit more, kind of squeeze the gaps, or just line up in what we call a double eagle a couple times where we thought they were kind of a bear look, a Chicago bear look. They either, I'm not sure if they lined up in it, but they kind of pinched to it from a couple times, a little bit different. But and unfortunately that long run he had got called back. Got better put him around 200 yards, but didn't work out that way.
Coach, obviously you guys are disappointed, but I mean, it seemed like talking with the guys, not too many heads hanging too low with this. I mean, is that the fact that, especially in 2012, they've been through this before, they know that it's still possible?
Well, I mean, you can't just go in the tank and quit. I mean, what did South Carolina do when they got beat? They got better. They beat East Carolina. We all realize East Carolina's probably a pretty good team. What they did with Virginia Tech, they beat a good team, and then they beat us, and I think we're a pretty good team too. So they didn't get down to the point where they couldn't fight back, and that's what we got to do. We got to fight back.
Mark, like that play on the goal line at the end, is there a balance to be struck between keeping the defense honest with the pass, but also giving it to your best player?
Yeah, better do it again. We'd have hammered it. Better do it again. We'd hammer it.
Just what about the pair of Carolina backs, Davis and Wells?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We knew they were good backs. They're good players. And I don't even know what they did. Was that Wilds there got 95? Davis got 73. Yeah, they're good players. And they got a big big offensive line. And those guys are very well coached.
Mark Hudson, for the most part, threw the ball pretty well to keep him as tight as it was in the second half.
He made some big plays. I mean, the biggest one being that 3rd long where we hit that flag route out there to Chris Conley. That was huge, and kept the drive going where it looked like they could have really put us in a bad way. But that was probably the biggest pass he completed of the day. But overall, I mean, no picks, 2 TDs, threw it for a pretty high percentage. On a little bit of a crummy night, I thought he did a good job throwing the ball.
It's time for 1 or 2 more. So on 4 of your scores tonight, South Carolina turned around and drove the field and scored a touchdown. Was it frustrating to see your offense?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough to separate, or I guess we were catching up thinking now maybe we can overtake them, but then they get to that 2-score lead again a few times. But we kept fighting. We were resilient, and we got within 3, got a turnover deep in the territory. We finally got in position to have a glorious moment, and we didn't seize it. Like I said before, that was just the most disappointing part of the game for me. Okay, 1 more maybe? Yeah.
What's going to be the key, you think, with getting Mason to have a little more chemistry with those receivers? Reps, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, reps. I mean, we didn't do a bad job throwing and catching. We just
I'd like to see Chris get a little more involved.
I mean, I'm not worried about who catches how many and all that kind of thing. I'm worried about winning, doing what it takes to win. And I think we can throw and catch good enough to win.